Hello guys, so welcome to Salesforce Helping Hand channel. So this video we are going to cover some common interview question and answer on the admin part, right? So first question is about the junction object. What is the junction object and why it is used in Salesforce? What is the requirement for it, right? And how we can create it? You have to give the example like what type of relationship field you have to create, on which object you need to create, right? So that is the questions about it. And the second question is, can we convert the master detail relationship into the lookup relationship? If yes, then what are the steps for it? The next question is, how many lookup relationship fields we can create on an object, right? And the other question was, interviewer asked me, what is the use of muting permission set in the permission set group, right? As you know, we can create the permission set group. So how we can mute it and what is the use for it, right? And the other question was like, what are the audit fields in Salesforce and what are the basically used for it? So that is very important questions, because this is something they are asking to understand the perspective of like how it looks, right? Now the next questions, which is asked in couple of interview, which is data skew. What is a data skew and how you can fix it, right? So as you know, there are three types of skew in Salesforce, which is account skew, ownership skew, and lookup skew. So you can more try to understand in detail. So why I'm just giving you the questions, because answer you have to be keep, you just have to go through with it, the answer, and you have to understand the concept, right? If I'm giving the answers, that definitely you will be not able to understand at the time of interview. Even I just tried it. So that's what I did later. I just getting the data from some YouTube videos or like Google's or from the interviewers, right? So I just going through the questions, but later I try to make my answers accordingly. So that will really help for you. Now come to the next questions, which is related to the flow, right? So interviewer asked me like, and on how many flows you have worked. So honestly, I'm telling like I worked on screen flow, schedule trigger flow, platform event trigger flow, right? Auto launch flow. And then they ask me the questions like, name the few global variables which are used in formula field and validation rule. So that was the question they asked me. And the other questions they asked me regarding to the flow, like what are the best practice we should follow in the flow, right, while you are writing the flow. So what are the best practice you should follow? And apart from it, they also ask me, what is the difference between trigger and flow, why we should use trigger if we have the flow, right? Because in flow almost you can do everything, but you have to give the answer appropriately, like as per the use case, and you have to go through the documentation for Salesforce so you can get the exact answer for it. And apart from it, on flow level, they ask me how you can call the LWC component from the flow, right? What are the required parameters should be there? And definitely they ask me how you can call the Apex class from the flow if you need it. And what how you I mean what exactly you need to make that class, like let's say, as you know, like in invocable method we need to make it. What type of class is it, like what should be the modifier, it will be the return type or something, static or boolean. These all things you need to keep in mind, right? So this is something about the flow. And yes, very important question asked me one of the interview, which is what are the limitations of flow, right? So they are asking me like, what limitations in the flow. Everything, every tool and every customization configuration tool have their limitations, so you keep in mind, right? And I think in one of the interviewer also asked me like, earlier we have the process builder, right? So what are the difference between process builder? I mean, they mean like they want to understand what exactly Salesforce additional given into the flows. So they ask me about that questions, right? And then they ask me some scenario based question, right? They ask me, right, let's say they need to process the 10,000 or 20,000 of data using the flow, or let's say schedule trigger flow, but anyhow that flow is getting failed. So in that case, how you will stop the flow when it just getting failed, and the previous record is getting processed. So in that case, what will you do? So definitely there is, even I was not aware about that question. So that was the pause element is there in flow, so you can stop the flow if the flow is getting failed, right? And yeah, in best practice there are a lot of things, you while you are working on the floor, even you are not working, you try to work and you can explore it in more level, right? And let's say you are on the same, they ask me the same, some one more questions. Let's say you have one screen flow and you want to keep the record id, right? So what is the mechanism to get the current record id in the screen flow, right? So that's what they also ask me. And one interviewer also asked, can we call the future method in our uh, flow? So that was the also ask me one questions. And what are the other perspective is, so they also asked me one questions, how we can convert the 15 digit id to 18 digit id, right? And or let's say vice versa, how we can convert the 18 digit id to the 15 digit id, and what is the difference between these two id, because in Salesforce we have these two id, and what is the difference between these two id. And let's say there is one more scenario based questions. So there are, let's say there are three object in master detail, a, b, right, and c. So what they want here, a and b are the parent of c, right? And in the, and c is